Thank you. Hope everybody had a good lunch and a good trade show. Great opportunity to learn about new things. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about, we're going to deeper dive into how I feel you can do a better job marketing if you choose to do so. So this one might be a little bit more intense. So I actually put some seat belts down on the edge of your seats. Can you put them on? Reach down by the side of your seats. They're on there. I just see if I get anybody looking down there. I put a little how can you improve your own marketing efforts card on your desk, right? In front of you. Has a little QR code that you can scan later on. And part of this process is what I'm going to talk about today. You'll notice that I use a printed piece, right? I gave you some steps on what you could do to improve your efforts. But I'm going to drive you to some online location where you'll be able to interact with us to learn more, right? So I'm going to kind of create this ongoing marketing campaign. I'm also going to do something that I've never done before. I told you all earlier that I will show you how I actually use the techniques today that I'm going to show you how I can generate inquiries and leads. But before I do that, I'm just going to show you what I do in terms of social media. So I'm not going to tell you how to do it yet. We'll do that later on. But I'm going to actually log on to the internet here. Let's see. I'm already on here. Everybody can see. This is my web application to my email. All right, I don't know if you have that, but it's not that important. The idea is I want to be able to see my email box. So I'm going to log into my email box. I want to show you something. So all the campaigns that we do on our marketing platform come into a centralized location, and then depending on what happens, we route leads to sales. So over here I have a sales inquiry box called Sales Inquiries and Leads. Now, I sold a bunch of books today. I thank you very much. I'm going to give away a lot of books today. Even if you already have one, my suggestion is to take a book and give it to someone on your staff, right, so they can learn. Can anybody tell me the difference between an inquiry and a lead in this room? The inquiry and a lead, sales. Inquiry and a lead.
I'm going to, Scott?
No.
I'm going to guess that an inquiry is more like fishing, but a lead is someone who has given you some kind of even warm or medium warm buy signal that is potentially closer to the
Okay, so I'm going to say that you're close, maybe, and some might say, no, she answered it right, but let's just say that I want a little bit more. There's really some definitive things. Go ahead.
Wouldn't an inquiry come from the potential customer and a lead is more like could be from any other source?
Nope. You definitely don't get a book. It's okay. Too bad you weren't here earlier, Jerry. Did you get the 50? Oh, yeah, that's right. He got the 50. That's why your name's still out up there. It's up there. I wonder why I didn't go back in the fishbowl. Anybody else? It's simple. Go ahead.
A lead is a prospect.
An inquiry can be a prospect.
Okay.
All right, you're all done, Scott. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Is a lead more like a referral?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm gonna put myself in the hat. At least somebody knows something about you, but wants to know more about you. And an inquiry is somebody who doesn't really know about you, just heard about you.
Kind of, but not really.
Don,
All right.
the book?
So let's talk about let's.
Saying the inquiry is somebody that knows about you. But
No.
the lead is somebody that knows about you.
We're talking.
Buys your product.
We're talking about lead generation here. And one of the things that I want you to understand, if you're ever going to sell these things to marketers, you better know the difference between an inquiry and a lead. Because they want you to bring the individual or the prospect that came into you that was an inquiry. They have interest in your product and service, maybe. Interest, think of that. It's an inquiry. Maybe they downloaded a white paper. Be an inquiry. A lead is qualified. You've either asked them a qualified question, right? On the website, or you actually had a conversation and you know they're qualified by a variety of things that you might have, but it could be budget or anything else, but you're exactly right. A lead is qualified. Now, so in my mailbox here, you'll see that I have inquiries and leads to all the campaigns that are going on, right? But we're going to talk about them later on in detail, but what I want to do is I want to show you, using social media, what I can do here. So, full disclosure, we create a tool that allows you to build and track QR codes for $20 a month. You don't have to buy it. I don't care if you do. What I want you to look at is a website that's engaging and interactive, and we do campaigns to generate interest. And when they land in this website, they can do things like watch a video, right, on why track QR codes. Maybe they can download the QR code success toolkit. And when they click on this thing, there's a landing page behind it where they can enter their information and they can get that QR code toolkit sent to them. That QR code toolkit is 3 years old and we've generated 5,000 inquiries from it, right? So the people have come to this, just grab this thing, download it. It's going to fit into my content marketing. But hold on, let me go one more step here. We're going to talk a little bit about shortening URLs. Does everybody know what a shortened URL is? If I want to drive somebody to a campaign I'm doing, and if I'm using Twitter, I want to shorten the URL. So we created a free product called ilink.me, right? So if there's a website I want to drive them to, like maybe this particular, this guy here, I can copy this URL, putting it into here, and it'll shorten it, right? And now when I click on that, it'll drive me to that web page. Does it make sense? All I did was take a long short. But the reason I'm using ilink.me is because it'll track it for me. I'll be able to track the responses.
So is it just renaming
It renamed it. I could have given it a name. I'm going to talk about all this. It's a little backwards, but just go with me here. So I take this, I copy it. Now I've already logged into my social media platform tool. It's called Hootsuite. Does anybody use Hootsuite here? All right. Hootsuite is it's not my application. It allows you to manage multiple social media profiles. All right. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I can post one message to all of them. Now, I didn't say do that, did I? No, but because each audience would be different. But here, I want to show you how I can post a message to you, printers or marketers, help your customers connect to the mobile audience. Check out the QR code toolkit. So I already pre-typed that in, as you can tell. And all I'm going to do right here, I think I am, is I'm going to paste in that link. Let me get it away from this guy here. Okay, so on Facebook, it's actually going to show that picture on my Facebook page, and it looks like I have enough characters here. I didn't over characters, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to send it, okay? I got about 11,000 followers on Twitter, and I don't know, maybe about 2,000 folks on Facebook, and I'm going to send this thing. All right? So in my social media efforts and my team, we have strategy I'm going to bring you through today that talks about how you do this over a period of time. Maybe it's a message you have on your website. Because where am I going to drive them to? Well, listen, all together. You weren't in my session this morning, right? I'm going to drive them to where? Website. If they decide not to download that QR code toolkit, what else can they do? They can goof around them. Right, get it? So if your website sucks, we need to make it better, right? So we're going to talk about that. But what I refer to here, I'm hoping I'm connected to the internet. Let me see, maybe that's my problem. There it says I am. We'll let this run. Let me get back to my presentation. I'll come back to this in a minute. Fair enough? Did it go? No, it's still spinning there. We'll just see how it goes. If I have to, I'll rerun it. All right. So I wanted to show you my mailbox because in all campaigns, all my inquiries and leads come into one place. Remember I told you, this is not a high pie in the sky. I got a platform. It starts with doing campaigns, right, with something called inbound and content marketing. So let me get back here, and we'll get started. All right. So, some tools here. So you already know about me. You don't need to know about that. Oh, next year, we're all going to come and we're all going to tweet next year. Because if you're not doing it today and your customers are, you're missing them. I'm going to show you today how Paul Strack made money on Twitter. All right, I'm going to give you his case study on how he did that. So I'm going to call this my marketing boot camp. That's why I provided seatbelts, right? Here's all the things we'll cover. Why it's important, the different types of marketing, right? We have offline, we have traditional marketing, social media, case reviews, how we can leverage content marketing, state of the mobile world. And guess what? I love that you left your phone on. I mean that. Every session I do, please leave your phone on. If you think there's something important, tell everybody about it. Who was I talking to at lunch there? If you have Facebook today, you should be telling your customers that you're at an event to learn how to help them with their marketing programs. Wouldn't they want to know that you're educating yourself? So take pictures, right? We'll take lots of pictures today. If I can get a volunteer, we'll actually do a video today. And we can humanize your brand and you can tell me about your company. Not about me, this is about your company. How many folks have done a video and said, this is what we do? Sean's a superstar. How many people have done it on a regular basis? All right, let me leave you with this. Are you ready? YouTube is the #2 search engine. Okay? If you're not doing YouTube and your competitor is, they're going to be found more often. Is Jason in here? Every time you post a YouTube video, you put keywords around it. Those keywords get read by Google, Yahoo, Bing, sir. And when people go on there one day and say, I wish somebody in the Hudson Valley area had marketing services, they're going to come up if they've done YouTube videos with those keywords around it. All right, so we're going to talk about that. We're state of the mobile world, location-based marketing, and then there should be enough time because we have a little bit more time now than we did earlier. Why is it important? I don't think I need to ask the question again. If your customers and prospects don't know you did that, or we don't know we do this, you need to create a strategy. If you're going to start offering new things, you need to tell them over and over and over again in multiple channels, because we live in multiple channels. It can help you increase your brand, the new things that you have, and obviously increase leads, because that's our major goal is to drive inquiries and leads, brand awareness, but inquiries and leads to marketing, to sales, and then support sales in the funnel. Different types of marketing. Traditional, online, inbound. We'll talk about this today. Content, social, mobile, and local marketing. I think I added something in here that I think really resonates in the quick printer market in terms of location-based marketing online. How many people know what Foursquare is? How many people know how to check into Facebook? All right, so just so everybody knows, that was 2 and then 5. Don't have to turn around. How many people have a thing on their window when you walk in, it says, check in here? Look at Joe Kern does, there's 1. What, you don't want everybody to know that one of your customers is logged in and they're doing business with your shop? We're going to talk about that today, all right? Do I sound angry? All right, good. So traditional marketing, mostly outbound and offline, right? Give me a couple of them before I turn the page. Newspaper. What else? Radio. Ooh, how's the newspaper industry doing? Yeah. Radio, right. Television, yeah. Yellow pages, print, right? We have different channels. Those are all channels, by the way, right? So marketers, there's one thing that you need to get is the vernacular. Multi-channel marketing does not mean cross-media. The whole cross-media term, by the way, dreamed up, well, it's part of marketing. Does anybody know what it means? What does cross-media mean? Media types, right? No, television's what? A channel. Okay? So we have print as a channel. What's a media type under a channel? So we have channels, media types, response mechanisms, right? Correct. Flyers, postcard, those are media types under the channel. Why can we have cross-channel?
The same message on different media.
That would be cross-media. I can cross them from a direct mail piece to an online channel and vice versa, right? But can we have cross-channel? Yes! Marketers talk about it all the time. I want to do cross-channel. I want to bring them from the TV, right, over to the online. Go to www. That's a cross-channel. That's not cross-media, right? It's like the whole web-to-print thing. It's web to anything. But anyways, I won't fight City Hall, but it's multi-channel marketing. Channels, media types. Here's traditional marketing, you're exactly right, winners. What is inbound marketing? We went over this earlier. For anybody that doesn't remember, it's about attracting prospective customers by offering useful information. It should be relevant, educational, and inviting. Needs to have a strategy. So types of inbound marketing: content marketing, search marketing, SEO, social media, video production, and optimization. The whole idea is to produce content and have people come get it from us. That content would only be relevant. And by the way, I'm not, writing anything about what I had for breakfast, right? Now, we'll talk about some of those things. As a matter of fact, I showed you some content I created, right? The QR code toolkit is really a white paper about, best practices in QR codes. It's content. And I shared that. Hopefully I'll check in a minute, but I'll bring it through the whole process. But it's a pull rather than a push strategy. It doesn't interrupt, it attracts people, right? And you can make your content disruptive. In other words, when they get it, make them think about it. I know I have the slide in here. Don't be boring. If you write it that it's boring in the subject line, it's going to be boring, right? Use value statements, anything that could be disruptive. Types of content that we can have: e-papers, case studies, e-newsletters, e-books, podcasts, infographics. Have you seen those? Yes, you have. You just didn't know they were called infographics yet. Yeah, usually around a subject matter with all statistics. I have one in here, right? Video, illustrations. Because I get stuck on them, you could have an infographic if you're doing wide format. You don't tell your customers that you have wide format. You tell your customers that you have this solution to allow them to do things like window clings and decals. You could actually make an infographics. Do you know how many people do this car apps over this many months and this year's? Make something graphically that represents something versus just all text. I'll show you one. Illustrations, blog posts. How many people have a blog? All right, so you blog, you write content that's relevant to your target audience. That's content. You put keywords in there because those keywords will feed the Google search. So when people type in those keywords, you get found. If you two are in the same vicinity and vying, or even across the country and vying for the same target audience, they're going to get found before you because they're using the keywords. Your website should be the most important thing when you get up and leave this room today. If it's not all, and it's not just the website, it's all of these things. And I know that's overwhelming, but I got a nice little checklist for you to go through each thing to get them done. But all of this is wasted without our website. Traditional marketing talks at people. Content marketing talks with them. You don't mind reading a little story that I might have wrote. A white paper, by the way, does everybody know what it is? It's so funny. And now I pause because you didn't ask. But now I pause because I've had some, I don't even know what you're talking about, a white paper, right? Because even I, as much as I speak, I make an assumption. But now I know to stop there and say, it's really just a collection of information. It could be 1, 2, 3, 5 pages long of some kind of information around a subject. It can be educational, it could be technical, but they were called white papers. In the online digital world, we call them e-papers. Pretty tricky, huh? E-papers, right? So we offer e-papers. But what it is something that would have interest to you. Let's move, before we're going to get back into content marketing a little bit, let's talk about social media marketing. Everybody's on LinkedIn. The most powerful network and professional tool you can have. But you need to use it to its benefit. Means that every day you should be putting something on LinkedIn. I call it having coffee with LinkedIn. Making connections. Why not? Everyone says, I don't know, I have all the time to do the stuff you do. Wait till you connect with me. You promised me you're going to connect with me, right? I want you to connect with me on my Twitter handle, John Foley Jr., you'll find it all. LinkedIn, and then you're going to wonder, how does he do all that? But when I show you how I generate inquiries and leads doing that, I think it might be beneficial to your company. So bottom line, in social, it'll definitely drive inquiries, leads, and then sales. But we need to use it in a way that is beyond, I'm on Facebook. How come? Because my competitor is. That's not going to help you, right? Why are we going to get on YouTube?
Because it's the second most used search engine.
It's the number 2 search engine. You guys might have to move up to the front row if this isn't, if I'm not, I said it on, I'm going to test you later. Why do we use YouTube?
It's the number 2 search engine.
And if John's using it and you're not, and he's using all the keywords,
And I'm not.
yeah, that's right. He's going to come up further. Same thing with all the social media posts we do. Did you know that? When we make posts on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, do you think Google picks up those keywords? Yes. So we need a keyword strategy when we post all these things. And I know it sounds overwhelming. It's not. But we want to have a strategy around all this stuff, or it won't work. And at the end of the year, the bean counter says, I don't see where this is producing anything. If you can't show them what I'm showing you in my email box, it's not producing anything. If you're not getting inquiries and leads off your website today, it needs to be changed. If your social and content strategy isn't driving inquiries and leads, you need to have a strategy. All right? And it doesn't mean you have to run. You can crawl, walk, then run. People say, how many YouTube videos? Hey, why don't we just start with 1? Right? So, social media channels, I think you know them all, right? And just when we go to sleep and wake up, there'll probably be another one, right? You'll see how fast people change from some to others. Wide format people out there that produce wide format things, right? Posters, things, right? How many know what Pinterest is? Wow, look at that. Probably 7 or 8 hands in Pinterest. What a great tool to take the picture of what you're making and share it with everybody. Pinterest, that's why we would use Pinterest. And we'll go through them in a little bit more detail. Foursquare is our location-based stuff, but there's many channels. You don't have to get on all of them at once. All right? It can build awareness, generate inquiries and leads, create happy customers. If there's something I can tell you right here, you're going to see more and more people reach to your company, I don't care how small you are, through these channels, because that's the channels they live in. If you set up Twitter, someone will go online on Twitter and say, hey, how's my order? It might be a direct message, but they'll do that, just like you use an email. Now, you can believe me or not, but that's how my kids, not actually Twitter anymore, I'll talk about that in a little while, how they're going to communicate with you. So we have to think, you're going to see a lot of growth in social handle and customer service. Oh, you see this all the time with airlines, right? Airlines, a lot of social Twitter stuff. I think you'll see even more growth in that. We need to look at it. When you're on social, you can share relevant and useful information. I'm not saying to everybody what I had for lunch. That's the oldest one I have, right? You can brand across your networks, and don't post old news, and make sure you engage, because that's what Paul Strack did. He listened, right? So just like we listen in the marketing meeting, you need to know how to listen on a social channel, and when people say something, you engage, all right? How about if someone's on these channels and they're trashing your business? If you're not listening, you won't know, right? And it's really easy to listen in these channels. So how do we generate inquiries and leads? We need to have a plan, all right? I'm back to that same thing, right? So I would call this the online marketing plan, which is part of your marketing plan. You need to build the campaigns. You need to actually execute them. And then you should measure what's going on. If you did a post, how many people did it attract? Have an integrated multi-channel mindset, and then make sure we have a lot of content. Now, I learn here, the number one question people ask me is, where am I going to get all this content? I said, all right, first of all, let's look and see if we have any content now, which you probably do. The day I walked into NAPL, I said to Joe Trunkel, he goes, oh, we got content. I go, content? You have more content than you know what to do with. But guess where it is? It's locked up in print. And I'm not kidding you. I won't mention anybody's names inside of the organization. They said, that's for our magazine. I'm like, well, why can't I use that for my white paper or my blog posts? So you might already have content. And who was talking with me at lunch? We talked about ICED. Gives you content every month. They're teaching you, right? Why can't we share their content? I'm not saying steal their content, share their content. There are people that sell content right? That's not what I'm here to sell anything, to educate you. You can buy content. You can write content. But a lot of times, you already have it. And making a YouTube video is content. That's another thing that we can do. When you do all these things in multiple channels, the idea is to generate more traffic on your website. How important is your website? Very important, John. How important is your website? Very good. Very, very important. But the more of these things we do, we attract more visitors. Right? And when people come to our site, we want to have some lead generating assets, inside of the marketing tools that we have that capture information and we put them into our sales, contact management, also known as CRM, right? And drive that in there. Does that make sense? Does that picture make sense? That's what I'm doing. That generates money for me, generates inquiries and leads, people raising their hand, I want this, can you call me for that? Much more than a contact us does. So the other question I get is, what should we be on first? And then we got to be ready for what's next. Because there's going to be something around the corner. No sooner did people say, well, I got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Which one did I miss? YouTube. And along comes Instagram. Right? Just like that. You know what the kids are using today? You're not listening. This thing called Snapchat. Oh yeah, now they're like, oh yeah. You say to yourself, well, how can I use that for business? You could, but not in a grand scheme. You know what I mean? I like Vines. Anybody heard of Vines yet? Okay, so Charles, yeah, Vines. You can take a YouTube video that plays over and over again. I think there might be some B2B play there. I'm not going to show you that today, and I'm not just throwing names out. My job today is to get you through some ways to get started in this online strategy, and then make sure you keep your ear to the ground, or listen to me. I've been talking about all this stuff every day for the last, I wasn't the first adopter in social by any means. Chris Brogan and all those guys way back when, but maybe a couple of years in. It took me a little while too, because I was like, really? But then it didn't take long for me before it to click for my whole online side. But there's some best practices too in social. Very important, know your audience. Who are they? Where are they? Cyclically. You can try to say that tongue-tying word fast in your mind, because I used to step on it all the time, but what does that mean? Where are they? You're writing a strategy on social media posting, and you're going to post some content. Where are they cyclically is, where are they during a time or cycles of a day? All right, so I'm trying to do I'm doing a Subway campaign for my local Subway. We're doing the direct mail for them. We're going to do the social campaign for them, because we know how to do that now, right? Social media marketing. We're going to help them do that. What time are you going to post the discount to the 15 to the 21-year-olds that there's a coupon only for Twitter followers for the town of Wilmington, Mass., Pound Wilmington? What time are you going to post it? And it's October, by the way. Why 2? Cyclically. When they're out of school, when they'd be around there. On average, when are professionals online doing their social networking? Huh? After work, at night, before work, lunchtime, all day long if it's your job, you're right. But you're right, they spend time at certain times, because you don't do it all day long, right? But it's important to know where they are. How do they use it? I use Twitter. I use LinkedIn a lot. I use Facebook more I use it for business too, but some more than others. Where is your audience? Did you ask them? Are they even on Twitter? Have you searched to see if their companies are on Twitter? Right? Do you know that you can do a search on Twitter and look for every VP of marketing in a 75-mile radius of your company? Did you know that? And all their names are going to pop up. And you're going to go, hey, I know Susan Maloney. Oh, look at that. She's talking about mobile QR codes. I can help her. So maybe you engage in that conversation. They're having conversations in these networks, right? And we need to do the same thing. So here's my 2 younger guys. 19, Trevor's 19 on the right, and that's Luke on the left, and that's my dad, 85, right? 2 years ago, they won the state championship. They're not blondes. They dyed their hair blonde for the championship game. We never won the championship ever in our town. So, yeah, I love to talk about my family, but that's not why I'm showing them. what I wanted to show them is if any service provider in our community had a half a brain, okay, that's Brad, oh, I'm sorry. Any service provider that paid attention on Twitter, they would see these students all day long tweeting about this championship and about their hometown. So imagine if I could help Subway again to engage in that conversation and say, Wilmington High players only 25% off between 5 and 7 on Thursday night on Twitter. Do you think they would have got a lot of traffic? Because that's all they're talking about was this championship. Then all of a sudden, you might have said, and I got down there at the bottom, a lot of them jumped from Facebook to Twitter. They did. Hardly any teenager today is on Facebook, only to post some pictures, at least around where we're at, right? It is across the board, John. I know, but I don't want to say, no, my daughter still uses it. It's amazing how they jumped over like that. And my reason for saying that is if you're going to help companies, you need to follow along with that you know that that's happening. Does that make sense? You know, yeah.
To that end, it used to be MySpace,
Yeah.
and that was for kids.
Yeah, MySpace was more like the first version of Facebook, had a lot of music stuff, which it still does.
And you don't even hear about it anymore. And then Facebook came along,
Yeah.
and now the kids have gotten away from that and going with
Yeah. Because it's a lot easier for them to get their message around in 140 characters or less. I also think that half of it is because the parents don't know how to use it. Huh? Right? Not really, but 140 characters or less, they can post pictures, they can talk about what they're doing. They love Instagram, right? They can take pictures. That's why they like that Snapchat, which I'm not so sure they're always using it for the most appropriate reason, by the way. You know, but whatever. They'll grow up through that stuff. This is just the tools of their trade. But in the B2B space, we have companies that are on Facebook, we have employees that are on Facebook, and the same thing business to business in terms of LinkedIn. So if we're not there, and our competitors are, we're going to have problems. Don't forget fundamentals, so we need a plan, measure, and stay ahead. So let me talk a little bit about tactics with the goal. So we have a tactical, we're going to get on Facebook. What is the goal to get on there? To increase awareness of services and generate leads. And what are our key steps? We're going to post one a day, and we're going to put a custom tab on our Facebook page that does a demo registration for something that we might have, maybe web to print. Right? Because you can put tabs on Facebook pages. All I'm trying to show you here, you can, when you get this back, make your own spreadsheet and make sure whatever you have the tactic is, what the goal is, and then what are you going to do? Right? Does that make sense? Instead of just saying, I'm going to get Facebook and Susie's going to post 5 times a day for us. What are you posting, Susie? Where are you getting the content that's going to be interested to our target audience? Go ahead.
When you're saying post once a day or post multiple times on Twitter, what kind of things are you talking about posting?
Videos.
Videos?
Remember the content marketing piece? You could post
I'm
a,
trying to figure out where I'm going to get that much input to put on it.
you're going to write a plan. I'm going to show you a content grid later on. The content either has to be generated, acquired, or shared. You can share other people's content, right? Everybody heard of Target Marketing Magazine? Target Marketing, right? Great magazine. They have a whole online thing. You could share, not a competitive article, but what about an article on best practices one-to-one marketing? And you share that on Twitter. You shared it to your target audience before Scott did, and you guys are competitors. Now, then you can generate your own content. That's why someone else brought up ICE here. They're always sharing content. If that content would help a prospect understand what you do, then we use that. Sometimes you've already generated content. If you're already doing newsletters, hard copy, you got content. You know, I can look back at Konica Minolta. They got more content than they know what to do with. Right? That's where I have fun. You go in these. And it's not Konica, but even like NAPL. Their mindset was not Joe's. He's like, we got more content, we don't do that. I said, yeah, but the mindset by your employees are this is a printed piece, right? Took those printed pieces out, just like you know, took the digital version, and then we use it online. Right? So you can follow that as a template. When you do all this, so you got to build your network, engage with them, be relevant, right? Be consistent, And then last but not least, track and analyze, because if you're not tracking it, it doesn't matter. Oh, and by the way, your CRM tool better have space for me to put in my Twitter handle, Facebook handle, LinkedIn handle, and maybe my Flickr site if I'm using Flickr. Right? Your sales reps, the sales has changed. If I'm using these channels, then you better have my information in your CRM tool, right? If you wanted to sell me anything, and you know I'm on Twitter, what are you going to remember my Twitter handle? No, you need to have it in your CRM tool. And then in the sales process, you'd log into Twitter, see if I'm chatting, and then maybe engage, because you're trying to move the sales along.
CRM is part of Twitter?
No, I'm glad you asked. Customer relationship management software, let's go backwards to contact management software. Let's go back to a spreadsheet where we have people's names, emails, addresses, and phone numbers, and so on. It's a database of information. The CRM came up as a term as where it's contact, sales, all in one. Does that make sense? Has a different meaning to everybody in this room, right? But what I'm saying is, no matter how you keep track of your prospects, you need to put spaces in there for these social channels that they play in. Remember one thing, here's our website, right? We have information going out and coming into our website all along. This is how that whole thing works. So we have to have a strategy around this. When are we going to post it? When are we not? We need a plan, we need to execute it, and we need to measure it. Do you know how many people I see do this and then don't do that? You know how I pounded home this morning, marketing plan, they showed me the marketing plan, and then 8 months later they haven't done anything. I don't have time. Oh, I'm glad you don't have time to find new customers. That's, you know, so we have to execute beyond that, and then we need to measure it all the time. Let's look at some case studies real quick. H&H Graphics, Lancaster, provides mailing, fulfillment, print services. Look at their Facebook page. Now, if you have a Facebook page, it should have a nice brand. Look at the value statement. More ways to grow your business. They humanize their brand a little bit. They got a little section on cooking. I know it's a little crazy, but there's a lot of cooks in there. And then they engage with their customers right on the website, on this Facebook page. So my message there, when you create your Facebook page, you need to have engaging things there that happen. He creates videos. What are the best practices in fulfillment? Right? On his Facebook page, puts them on his website, and he puts them up on YouTube. Make sense? Right? Here we are on the website. When they get to the website, they can access all that stuff. But look at this right here, smart marketing. I'm going to take some credit for this thing. I'm like, why can't we use smart marketing? You know, why do we say that we have to be just a marketing service? But we can help you with smart marketing, right? We can help you with your sales growth by doing smart marketing, maybe some marketing on target, mailing and fulfillment. Again, it's just another way to present your business differently than you might today. Paul Strack. I showed him in the business case, but look at how he's got his stuff here. Look at this. If you're on social media and you have your channels into the bottom of your page, what are you hiding for? You don't want people to connect with you, right? Right up top, you want your social media stuff, right? All this content over here, target marketing, you can drill right in there and get more information. You can scan that and actually download a white paper. Look at his Twitter stream. First of all, on Twitter, on your company, make sure under your bio you say what you do. I love the people that get on Twitter and they go, I'm on Twitter. Excellent, right? Remember I told you about how you can do go onto Twitter, do a little query. I'm not going to show you today, right? Do a little query on how you can find somebody on Twitter. What it does is it looks for the bio, 75-mile radius, anybody that put director of marketing, VP of marketing, and you can find all these people. Easier than going to D&B and buying their hard copy list, right? And they're online right there that you can connect with them. Does that make sense to everybody? There isn't a business that shouldn't be taking advantage of that. He's got a nice background image up here, same brand, carries on. And look, here's how he made money on Twitter. This gal that he followed made a post making Moss training manuals. That's the company she works for. It doesn't get any better than this. Paul's got a pretty good sense of humor. He writes back, at Polrich, just remember, a rolling stone gathers no moss. Does that help? He's trying to be funny. And then she responds, at Paul Strack, Do you have a high-speed color copier? I'd much rather have you do it with a smiley face. And he said, "Yeah, matter of fact, I do." About $3,000. I don't know what his profit was, but a $3,000 print job directly from Twitter. But that's because he was listening online there. He does a, he sells mobile websites, QR codes, so he chats about them with everybody online. Right? So he's sharing information to the people that are interested with that. The best practices for Twitter is you've got to participate. You need to engage, share information, links, videos, be a thought leader, continue to talk about the value that you offer in different ways. Tell stories. Point them back to where? All right, very good. And then review your message. Let's talk a little bit about local marketing. So we've done things in the past. I always like to think of LinkedIn as the old Chamber of Commerce meetings. So for you young folks out there, you never attended any of such thing. But in the olden days, 10 years ago, right? Probably even 10 years ago. There's some still active today. Don't get me wrong, but it's totally different. In terms of networking locally, there would be a restaurant that everybody go to, the insurance people, the carpenters, everybody. Every business you had, printers, mailers, and we all go to this thing and we drink a few cocktails, have some dinner, and swap cards, and that was networking back then. LinkedIn's like 500,000 times the size of that, right? We can make a lot more connections for people that are online. Every day, have your coffee with LinkedIn. Say to yourself, I'm going to make one connection with somebody that maybe will want to do business with me or vice versa, right? And I'll share something with them that week that would be relevant, maybe helpful to them, right? So you post in LinkedIn. How many people post on LinkedIn? When you connect with me, you'll see what I do, right? Don't recreate the wheel. Say, I get what he's doing. He's posting information. Guess what? It's all relevant to you, right? And you'll all of a sudden you'll say, oh, he drove me back to his website on this one, right? Because he wants me to bring me through this content marketing thing. But local marketing, yeah.
When it comes to LinkedIn, do you advise that people only befriend or accept contacts that are people that they actually know? Or do you think it's okay to have 10,600 contacts just because other people...
I don't do that. I only want to have contacts, for me, people that are either going to do business with me or vice versa, right? And when you connect with somebody, geez, I'm glad you turned me on to something else. Don't just use the standard things. I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. No. How about, what's your name?
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. It was nice to meet you. I'd like to connect with you here on LinkedIn. What do you think? John. And then I put that I'm an author. And then maybe, I can't put a website link in the invite because it won't allow you in LinkedIn. But anyways, and she, a little bit different than the general one. Where all they're trying to do is connect with you to sell you something. That doesn't work for me. So think about that anytime you connect with somebody. But if you share something, it always, they go, wow, they're not just trying to connect with me, but if they don't, it's not a bad thing. You can find out what group they're in, and then you start engaging in that group, the LinkedIn group, and then share something in there. Local marketing, obviously we have the community thing, network with other business, employ social media. We're going to talk about that. You can create giveaways, grassroots. But online local marketing, we can use social media. You ever heard of a thing called Groupon? Right? I'm not saying use Groupon. I'm just telling you what location-based marketing is in the social world. Foursquare, GoWalla. Local reviews, Yelp. Have you submitted your company to Yelp yet? Yelp, Y-E-L-P? All right. I don't need to tell you to pick up your pens, right, and write this down. Right? No, you don't have to. Like Peter Muir said to me, they don't have to do anything, John. No, you don't have to. Let the other person down the road that submitted their company to Yelp, and then because Yelp is picked up a lot by Google, right? But that's location-based marketing. So when someone searches for you, and I'm sitting in my office in Wilmington, and your business is in Wilmington, your Yelp pops up first before the other person that's maybe 2 towns away. Does that make sense? Location-based marketing. How many people have Google Maps on their website? All right, why?
It's easier way for somebody to find you. You click it and you go.
Yeah. What else?
It also moves you up.
Moves you right up. You get those little
Right.
geographical things, right? Another thing that you can do in location-based marketing, We'll talk more about more of this local stuff. I want you to do one thing for sure on Facebook, since you probably have the equipment, to maybe print something that says, you know, check in on Facebook because we're going to give away something once a month. Can you find something to give away in your office? Just one thing, right? Maybe it's a $10 gift card. Find one thing once a month and start a local, that's what we call local marketing campaign. So anybody that walks through says, oh, check in, and I'm enrolled in to do this thing, you know, and you can actually have them check in, and all their friends that are on Facebook see they checked into your shop, right? Maybe they'll even say, I love it here. Because if they say they don't love it here, you better reach out and ask them why. Even if people say that they don't like our business, we need to ask them and get them off that channel. A lot of people ask me that. What if they're talking bad about me on Twitter? Well, you get them on Twitter and you ask them to give you a call, right, and say, how can I help you? How can I change this around? Just like you would if it was real time. But you don't want them on there bashing you because it'll happen. Let's move into content marketing. Let me see if this, let me see where this is at here. It's like I'm baking a cake, I think, and I don't know how to bake cakes, but let's go look over here. Did this go? Yeah, there it is, okay? So that's my sent tweet right there. All right, so I sent this thing, help your customers get to mobile audience, check out the QR code. If I go to my Facebook page, log into Facebook real quick. Yeah, okay, see how it posted on Facebook? All right, I didn't get any comments yet or whatever. It was posted 38 minutes ago, but anyways, people can click on that link. And the reason I use that shortener and that link is because I can actually go back there and refresh this page and see that I've had 44 hits since I posted that. Yeah, you guys shouldn't do any of this. It won't work for you. I don't care if anybody didn't go to the landing page yet, all right? But I've generated some interest on this particular. This is the oldest, this QR code toolkit is like been the most phenomenal thing we've done in terms of content marketing. The secret is no matter what, you call it a toolkit. Something about toolkit, right? If you look it up in trends in Google, you'll see that it comes up a lot. But anyways, I can also drill down here and as it gets older, I can see where they're posting from. But let me go to my mail. Just by chance, I wonder, and I promise, I didn't call my office and say, you know, fill out one of these forms. I'm going to go back to that mailbox. Thankfully, no one's saying any swears in my mail, so you can't read them. All right, it doesn't look like I got any there yet, but let me just show you, before I deeper dive into content marketing, I shared information, they went to a landing page on my website, and they could download content, right? I have a lot of these campaigns going, don't I? Not just this one. We have lots of campaigns. I sent out an e-newsletter, and that e-newsletter had a new product or service. Maybe I'm just starting to sell promo items, premium items, and I'm telling them about it. And when it said read more, they went to our website, and they downloaded the handbook on premium items at trade show. I don't know. I just dreamed that up. That wouldn't be too hard to make that little e-paper, right? So I make that e-paper, and then I come in here and I start looking at how these people are responding. So this person downloaded the web paper. All right, now that's, of course, on the first one, I look at one of my folks in here. Let me get up here. So create and track. So please let us know what information you're interested in seeing. Dear, I have 2 questions. We would like to create 40,000 QR codes. Right? I'm not saying they came and downloaded the white paper. They actually came in through one of our campaigns, which you can see up here, you know, what the campaign name was, what media type, what the source was, so on and so forth. But what it meant was my website was ready for them. Let's go look at a couple more. Oh, here's one here, request a demo, right? In addition, so web to print demo, instead of demo of the web to print, I would also like the following, have a sales rep contact me. This is all inbound content marketing. I did not send a direct mail piece and say, hey, go log in and come look at this, right? What I'm showing you today is how we did this, right? I'm going to go down here to a couple more maybe. Ron Bowman, he downloaded my white paper. I wrote a white paper called Integrated Marketing, Holy Grail white paper. It got a lot of traction when I first launched it. And You'll see in a few weeks, if you follow me, I wrote a white paper called The Day the Print Industry Died. Is that disruptive? Is that enough for you to go, what the hell is he talking about? Is it? Right? The whole idea is to get you to get that thing, right? And then read about it, how the industry, the way we knew it, has died, hasn't it? It's transformed, right? And how you can do a better job at that. I'm not bragging that the industry is not the same anymore, but what I wanted to do was disrupt you to take a look at it and then download that white paper so you'll actually come like this guy did and download it, and he gave me his email address. Now I can put him in a sales track automatically and have events, even if it's manually for today. If someone downloaded this white paper and you had one there, Scott, and you did it, nothing says that you can't send an email to him, hey, thanks a lot, Ron, for downloading that white paper. Let me know how it might be a service to you. That's pretty good. I didn't do any outbound calling here. Does this make sense at all? All right, so let's go back to content marketing. It's always a little dangerous jumping in and out of the thing, but let's make content work for us. We have to create useful content, educational. We have to distribute it. It's not that hard to distribute it. I'm going to get this piece of content and I'm going to post it on my website and a blog post on this day. I'm going to post it on LinkedIn this day, Facebook on this day. Am I making sense? I've taken one piece of content now and used it in 3 different places. And by the way, I could also take the same content and record a video of it, right? Or talk a short snippet of a video, right? Think they're that hard to do? Anybody want to do a video with me right now? Any volunteers? Tell me about your business. Come on, Charles, hurry up, I'll show you. So I brought some equipment with me because I'm not a professional, right? All right, so I got a little movie stand. $19, by the way. 200, maybe $1.70 now, maybe 100. And if I had to, I could use it, right? So all I'm going to ask you to do, I got a little thing called the Bloggy, Sony Bloggy. Watch my battery be dead. So it lights up. And all I have to do is, all I'm going to do with you right now, Charles, I just want to do one thing. Tell me a little bit about your company and how you help your customers. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
My name is Chuck, and I'm from Quick Copy Printing in beautiful Mission Viejo. And what we do is we offer high quality, fast printed products for the public, for your marketing and social media needs. What we've learned over the past is to incorporate social media into your marketing piece to cross-reference so that the customer sees the same brand image over and over again, ultimately leading them and directing them to your website and your shopping cart. My name is Chuck from Quick Copy Printing. Out of breath.
I love the little out of breath thing. Now, I don't know if I got it at the end, but that humanizes him, right? People want to do business with people they like, right? So now all I really need to do, and if I have time, I'll actually do the whole thing for you, but this little guy has this little USB plug here. I pop it out, I stick it in the machine, I save it, I upload it to my YouTube channel. Now it's on YouTube. Now I can embed it in my website. I can share it on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Are you going with me here? How long did it take us to do that? Right? I mean, as you get going, you might, you can sit down now, Charles.
Thanks, John.
I know where I am right here. So remember I talked about this content being so important, right? So with a couple of tools, you can do this. Hi, it's John Foley Jr. Listen, I just want to thank you very much for stopping in here and taking a look at CreateTrack.com. Not only does it allow you to create all the QR codes, with logos embedded in personalized URLs, the better part is really about the tracking mechanism. So location-based, You don't like my video? You might learn about something else on my website. There might be a piece of content to download, like the QR code toolkit. Is this starting to help a little bit? Start with one video. But the more videos that you do, and have a purpose. This isn't just to make videos, but have a purpose. People love to work with people that do things that give back to the community. Do you guys ever do donations back to your community? Talk about it. We're proud to be part of the scholarship fund in our community. You know, we've done it 5 years in a row, and maybe you have 4 of your employees giving the check to the thing and you make a video of it, right? That's called humanizing your brand, right? So we can do the same thing with pictures and all kinds of other things. But the idea is it's not that hard to make some of these. So let's really move along here with, I'll load this up if we have time, but. So we need website content. We need whole page material, web copy, product descriptions, blog posts, all that stuff needs to go on there. Do me a favor, always make sure it's value statements. Not just, what is it going to do for them? And when you read it, say to yourself, would mom or dad know what I do or what I sell or what services? Ask them. Ask people, does this resonate? Get to your favorite customers. How many people do testimonials with their customers? Right? How about taking the video out? If you're that close with them, hey, would you be willing to do a video? You know how powerful that is? You put that video on YouTube, in your website, and then you have an e-newsletter, and everybody gets to see that. Wow, right? Makes sense? Wasn't that hard to make that? Testimonials are part of our content strategy. Email newsletter, in email content, we need to have content for the e-newsletter. Maybe we do product or service spotlights, and we do cross-promotion. Social media, what posts do we do? What kind of campaigns? Make sure we're sharing worthy content. When we distribute it everywhere. That's what this is. We don't have to do it all at once either. Let's just get started and commit to do it for a long period of time. Who was it? You, Scott, that said you posted something like 2 years ago? No, who was it? And they haven't done anything since? Oh, it was Tim way in the back. You're right. Thank you, Tim, for being honest, right? It's okay. There is one danger to do this. I think when you do it and you don't do anything with it later on, people know that you've stopped and you're really not sharing any more information. So they'll go to somebody else that might be sharing information. So that's why the plan's important. If it says post once a month, then post once a month. And by the way, you can't just go hire an intern to do this. All right? They need mentors. Interns need mentors. Every time I hear a consultant go hire interns, they'll do all your social media. Really? Will you let them run your business? You're going to let them come in and run? No. We all went to school. We came out. We were interns. We learned. I sat next to Jerry. He taught me. Right? I love interns. Get interns, but make sure you have a mentor. If you have a plan, then they can help, because then you can oversee it, or somebody else can oversee it. But we distribute all this content. When you're distributing your content in email, like your e-newsletter, do me a favor. I don't have time to read the 5-page e-newsletter. What is the attention span or the read span on an email? Do you know like how much they actually read? Not much. Subject line, maybe 5 more seconds. You better get me in the bullet points or I'm heading out. 2 simple articles. Just when I overwhelmed you about all this content, start with an e-newsletter every other month. And all you're going to do is put 2 pieces of content, and maybe you already put one on your website. One says, come learn about whatever, driving back to the... And the other one's really, I don't know, something else that you put on there that has some kind of relevant value in terms of content. An email. Your subject title is very important. Your design, what incentive, the message and call to action. How about the offer, right? This is no different than we used to say, and we still do when they're doing good direct mail campaigns. Creative, call to action, and what's the offer? Same thing. But your subject line can't be boring. Don't be boring anymore. Have fun. You know, when I said this stuff, you guys smile, you nod your heads. Guess what? That works, and that works online too. You know, I'm not saying be totally outside provocative, but you can be, people will take notice. Everything we do impacts this. blog posts impacts our search engine optimization for our site. That's why blog posts are so great for our business. It's directly related to our company site. Google reads those keywords and actually ranks us, all right? Now, we can't use the same sentence over and over again. That's a whole different discussion for SEO, because it's a deeper dive. My point is, everything that we distribute, content online, links, YouTube, all impact our search engine optimization. The only thing I want to focus on here is you have to have a keyword strategy, right? So in keyword strategy, if you were doing wide formatting, what would be some of the keywords that you would blend into your stories?
Posters, banners,
Ah, man, he is learning. You're absolutely right. He's not going to say what?
wide format.
Ah, very good. Right? It's like the people that show pictures. I always feel like no one's showing pictures of their equipment on their website, right? Maybe way in the back, yeah, but no picture. I used to love the Heidelberg on the homepage. Really? That's what people buy, the Heidelberg? You're a printer. So this is like 7 years ago. I'm already having this discussion. They don't want your equipment. They want to know what services you can help them do a better job with. So you got to have those keywords in there. Your forms are real important. I know that you've been printers. We really don't need their age, their street address, zip code. We don't need any of that to start. Okay? As a matter of fact, the more fields you put in there, the less likely they are to fill it out. And you're all nodding your head because you're the same way. Once they get to the sixth thing, forget it, I'm done. How about questions? One second. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, would you prefer to set that up in such a way that first you ask somebody to prefer to be contacted by mail or email, and then get to the form that medium?
If I'm doing an online strategy, I know they're online and they're going to give me their email address. They're not going to fill out the first and last name. Now, let's not worry about it yet. I'm not saying don't do it. It's always so fun for me to say. I look at some forms, I'm thinking, really? I mean, probably not Konica, but let's go, go look at some of the manufacturing. I mean, there's like 8 fields, 10 fields. I'm never filling it out, and they're wondering why they don't get a good response rate. Ask them for their email address, and if they self-qualify or they're a good inquiry, just go look at their domain name, find out what the company is, and type it in. Right? So you know what I mean? We want to get them to come into our fold, not have them say, wait a minute, I'm not going to fill. Same thing with questions. I love questions on forms, but how many do you think I would recommend? Maybe 2. All right? Especially when you've done a couple of campaigns. Let them self-qualify to some level, right? And I'm not saying I want to buy this. You ask them a question that, do you feel that mobile marketing is going to continue to grow? Yes, no. How about in some of my stuff here? I'd like to sign up for my e-newsletter. Don't do a form unless it says that on it, down here. Why not? That's my single. I don't even care if they don't download the white paper. They just want to sign up for my e-newsletter. That's awesome. They just said to me, I want you to talk to me. I'll let you talk to me once a month. Does that make sense? That's your e-newsletter strategy. I showed you this morning. This is it all. Now, hopefully very helpful more. We have a plan. What are we selling? A product, a service, an asset, nonprofit. So this is for all types of businesses, right? Well, who's our target audience? What content am I going to use? Am I going to blog it? Where am I going to publish it? What channels and medias will I use? But the whole concept is to get noticed. And where are they going to go? Oh, all right, one more time. Where are they going to go? Yeah, very good. Thank you. That's your website, by the way. And if it sucks, they're not going to stay there. Number one thing you need to look at when you get back is your website. First thing you can do is look at it on a mobile phone first, because if you have to pinch and zoom, guys like me, I do everything on my mobile phone. Now, guys that my age that do the same type of thing might not use the mobile phone, but I'm just saying you have to think about that. Once they get there, we need to have ways for them to engage. And now we have inquiries, and if they qualify, they become leads, and they're in our sales funnel. Now I can deliver them content over a regular period of time. Does that make sense? Automatically. Make sure you pay attention to your content calendar, right? So your audience events. If it's the holiday season, maybe you make some posts around holiday, Thanksgiving or whatever it may be, and then add something in there, how did the turkey cross the road? I don't know why I was going to say something like that. But anyways, something about that and how you can do a better job in your one-to-one marketing. And it's a blog post that you wrote. You put a link in there with the shortener and you drive them there. My point is that content was relevant to a period of time, right? Because a lot of people will look up online Thanksgiving and I want your blog post to pop up in that Google search. Does that make sense? They click on it, they go where? To your website? We overwhelmed? No, I didn't see anybody. That's good. All right, we're getting there. And it's okay. I'm going to give you all this stuff so you can have it later on. Hey, here's the old-fashioned calendars. There's an event on this day. It's actually a little messed up. It's supposed to be on the 21st. But anyways, there's an event. What did we do in the old days? We'd make a call for contributors. We'd announce it on the website. Hey, we'd even do an email blast. We'd make some phone calls. We'd send out a printed version. Hey, we're even doing an e-newsletter. Press release, and then we have the event. Then we'd send out thank you cards and enter these contacts in our CRM. Did that look like something like 4 years ago? 5, 6, 7 years ago? Well, with social media, and if you have all your strategy set up, your calendar might look like this. Because these folks are online. We announce on the website, but we also announce it on Twitter and Facebook, right? We have an events page on Facebook. We're actually connecting with the speakers on LinkedIn. This makes sense? Right? Nothing would be better if a speaker that we brought in to speak about subject matter talked about our business, because you brought them in, which leads me to a quick thing, if you don't mind. Does anybody do open houses here? Right? How many? I don't, open house, right? I like them. I don't always like them in your facility, all right? Maybe the first time. But that's why people say, why does it drop off? Well, I mean, how many times do I need to go there? But it's a great way in local marketing to bring people to a location. You bring in somebody, you don't have to bring me all that way. You could find someone that can talk about this subject matter in your local area, spiff them, I don't know, a little something, and they come in and they do an hour lunch and learn for your prospective target audience. Barb might talk about, we did this big one, it was called the Cypher Symposium in Rhode Island, but I think they're very effective marketing tools. But we could tell everybody about it here in all these channels. When you get back and you get this, I want you to fill out all of these answers, and you've written your online marketing plan. You answer all these questions. Describe your business and your service. What are your goals? Where's the audience? How do they use it? This is really, what are the one things, the keywords? How will you humanize? Pictures, video. Where am I going to get the content? And when am I going to distribute it? And then how will I measure the success? That's always the big one. I measure it by web traffic to downloads of e-papers, to sign-ups, to e-newsletter sign-ups. Is that making sense? That's all metrics that's valuable to the campaign that I started. All right? I can measure all that stuff. My new favorite slide is this one that I made probably a month ago. Shows you about content marketing in a different way. We have business objectives when we're offering our products, trying to get inquiries and leads, and we're closing, right? Does everybody know that little, that arrow? So I'm trying to let people know that we have stuff available. I need inquiries and leads, and then I'm closing them. These are content, pieces of content. A buyer comes along and says, I need something, right? So they need to connect, they need a solution. Sometimes they need to educate themselves, they need to research the solution. Maybe they want some demos. The further you get down here, you know, they're going to narrow the vendors, they're going to get proposals, negotiate, and then they're going to buy, right? That's a buyer's habit. Different shapes and forms, but generally that's how it flows. Well, we need content for our sales and sales team throughout this whole thing here. In the very beginning, we might have product info, infographics, white paper stories, e-newsletters. And we might use an e-newsletter again down here. But look, when we get down in the closing stage, we need case studies, references, pricing sheets, testimonials, industry. You might already have some of this content available. But that's a different way to look at content engine and a grid that you need to fill out. Does this make sense? This is really important, everyone. I know that all the other part is about marketing, but when sales, they need content when there's interest. It doesn't have to be deep content, but they need content to move that sales prospect along. All right, we're on 6, and then we get 7. I think that's it. Let's achieve some marketing success. Don't try to do everything at once. I do ask that you get started. Look at your website. Look and see if it does all those things. Make sure you choose the tools. Make sure you know who your target audience is. Whatever you do, tie this to sales dollars. That means you do 2 things when you go back. I ask you to look at your website. Ask and see if Google Analytics is on your website. If it is, I want you to baseline where you're at today. Start right there. You know exactly how many visitors you've had over the last, you baseline where you're at. Because the things that I'm telling you right here is going to generate more traffic, and that's what we need to go tell the person that's going to invest in the website update, right? Hey, we need X amount of money to update this website. So we want to baseline that thing. What do we expect? What are our sales dollars today? What are our inquiries and leads today? Right? So baseline everything, and then we put the marketing plan together, and then we can measure along the way how that's working. Right? So it could be market share, key account. Create that strategic plan. That's just another way to look at what I had earlier. And I just turned my thing off here. Remember in marketing, you need a 1.5 to 2-year marketing plan. At the end of 1 year, look at it again. It's constantly changing. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way of the world. You get halfway through, you're going to figure out if you're doing solutions with wide format. Pinterest is a great tool. So you're going to want to get involved in Pinterest. You know, so, and that's because it's a graphical thing. It's a lot of pictures on Pinterest. Be flexible. You know, when a new opportunity comes along, think about some of the things I talked about today, making a YouTube video, making a video. There's so many things you could do videos of in your office, and you could make your own content that would spread a year. Hi, Mitch Evans. I just noticed you way back there. Mitch is here. He's in the house. There's Mitch Evans, if you didn't know Mitch. This was my little Q&A for you. You know, what is your website today? Have you asked your customers what they think of it? Does this explain what I do? Watch, they're going to say the same thing. I didn't know you did that, and no, it doesn't tell me anything about what you do. Ask others to look at it, right? Look at it on a mobile device. Remember the 2 most important things. Prospects and customers look there first. You know that, right? Do you know that? If you don't know that, let me ask you a different question. Think of the favorite thing that you love to do. And you want to go do something new, like maybe we like to vacation. Where do you go for the vacation? Do you open a book and learn about the location you want to go to? Where do you go? Internet. You go to the internet. Then you find a nice location. Then we are on their what? You're on their website. Right. I don't care what anybody says. They won't tell you, but once they leave that building and they want to learn about it, they go to your website. So if it doesn't match up to what we're trying to say that we have for our customers, it's not going to work. It's amazing to me. One time I asked for a volunteer to do their website. I think I mentioned it to somebody else. It was a bad scene because their feelings got hurt. I'm not here to hurt people's feelings, but I can tell you, you want to ask me later on, anybody can send me an email and say, John, tell me about my website. In less than 20 seconds, I can tell you on a scale of 0 to 100 how you're doing. Right? And I can say that generally it's probably pretty low. And then there's actually tools that you can use to actually do analytics on your website. But that's where everybody goes, so if I tell you that, that should be your highest priority when you leave. And it's not just, John Foley said it, it's true. And then make sure that your website's generating inquiries and leads. Right? Is that a signal or is that we? Hold on. Yeah, I got a couple more here. Let's see.
It went out. It's the power went out. It's changed over to the generator, but it came back up.
Okay, so what were we just talking about there? The website. All right, so you want to make sure you focus on your website. The other things you want to do is actually want to have that plan in place. I'm trying to think about the end of the thing here.
Your screen's still up.
Your screen's up if you want to come up your laptop.
Well, I just need to remember. Oh, I really wanted to cover this real quick. I think, let's just talk about mobile real quick. Your website needs to be mobile ready. How many people actually have their website on a content management system? Anybody heard of WordPress? Right? A content management system is an application that allows you to manage your own website without being a programmer. All right? They're made for dummies like me. If I want to go put a blog post, I can log in, enter the blog post, and post it live to the website, and I didn't have to run down to IT. There are all kinds of content management systems, CMS, WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, homemade jobs that I don't like because you're stuck to that homemade job. WordPress is open source. It doesn't cost you anything to buy it, but nothing is for free. That means you have to invest time. You have to learn how to put in content, right? So this is, it's going to come up here. This is my example of an infographic, right? So this is incredible mobile marketing statistics. You know, in some countries there are more mobile subscriptions than there are people. Mobile coupons get 10 times the redemption rate of traditional coupons. So this is just an infographic. The reason I'm showing you this is that there's a lot of mobile stuff here, but you could make these for your own business. All right, so it's a content tool. This was made by Yankee Group. How many people sleep with their phone? You're lying. How many people, their cell phone is not an arm length away? Does not.
Mine's 2.
All right. So, okay, so there's maybe 5 people, right? So most people sleep with their phone today, right? It's like right there. Right. His landline's there. No one's calling him, but it's there. But, I want you to think about your smart, what your website looks on. That's what this person's website looked on their mobile phone. Do you think anybody can read that? What do you need? You need some kind of mobile-friendly site. Make sure that it adapts to all devices. That CMS I'm talking about, WordPress, has something called responsive web design. A couple more here, and you can take all these. This was all for you to have. That was that website I showed you earlier about responsive web results. Latka Print, you can ask her about it. I already did these. And I have some final thoughts for your takeaways. Hire the right person or outsource your marketing needs. Get some help, right? Look at your website. Write a plan. Get started with inbound marketing. I don't care if it's one post or one video. Think mobile. It's the fastest growing space around. Figure out, learn about the stuff I talked about today, how you can help your customers reach the mobile audience, because you can. There's no question in my mind. I see it every day, service providers helping to connect. QR codes, augmented reality. And if you can't measure it, don't do it. Because there's nothing more frustrating. And every marketer is going to want to know that. That's my contact information like before. I'm going to pause and ask if there's any questions that you may have. I know there was a lot there. Anything? Any thoughts? I talked to Nancy and Jay. I'm always full of ideas, right? They're probably like, let's get them out of here. But maybe next year, just tell me what you would think. You know, we have breakfast here together. What if we had round tables and there was a LinkedIn expert, and Scott was really good on LinkedIn, and he volunteered to run a round table. And you could just go there and, you know, ask questions back and forth. I think that'd be great for an event like this. You know? Good. Well, don't stop, especially now with all this stuff. Maybe there's a mobile tag. Let's talk about mobile marketing, because there's a lot of time to learn in there. Any questions at all? You can ask me later. I'll be here later on. I thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll see you tonight at dinner.